Hello students, welcome to EPG Pathshala. In previous module, we have studied that what is bioremediation, what are its different types, and what are its advantages and what are its disadvantages. And we have also learned that this technique can be used for the remediation of organic compounds as well as inorganic compounds, particularly the metals. So now in the next 3 modules, we will be discussing bioremediation of specific types of pollutants, and in this module we shall be discussing on the bioremediation of organic compounds. The learning objectives of this module are to understand different organic contaminations, countering organic contaminations, to understand about bioremediation of organic contaminants, to gain knowledge on bioremediation strategies for volatile organic compounds. These are a type of organic contaminants that we will be discussing. To gain an understanding on bioremediation strategies for polyaromatic hydrocarbons, and to understand different factors which influence the bioremediation process. We know that organic contaminant means these are organic in nature. These mainly contains carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen and sulfur compounds. Huge amounts of petroleum products are liberated in the environment during wars, explosions during boring and from leaky tankers. Millions of gallons of oil are spilled annually in the seas. The release of chemicals in the environment has caused several diseases like cancer, allergy, asthma, respiratory problems, etc. In addition to this, these organic compounds have not only affected the human health but have also affected the other forms of life existing on the earth. I will suggest the students just to read about the harmful effects on different forms of life and environment of the organic contaminants. In this module, we will be mainly concentrating on the volatile organic compounds, sometimes called as VOCs, and then on the polyaromatic hydrocarbons, usually called as PAHs, and the oil contaminant. Some example of the organic contaminants include alkanes, cycloalkanes, halogenated compounds, cyclic aromatic structures like benzene, xylene, toluene, etc. These all come under the category of organic contaminants. Let me discuss about volatile organic compounds, what they are, what are their effects, and what are their sources. Volatile organic compounds are chemical compounds which are having a low boiling point in the range of 50 to 100 degree Celsius with respect to the vapor pressure more than 102 kilopascal at 25 degree C. Basically, volatile organic compounds are organic compounds. These contain carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, sulfur, hydrogen, but VOCs exclude carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, carbides, etc. Majority of volatile organic compounds are developed from petrochemical sources, and these are emitted from the vehicles. VOCs also occur from solvents which are used in paints, photocopying machines, carpets, plastics, etc. Formaldehyde is another volatile organic compound that is produced from the furniture. Almost all volatile organic compounds are sensitive and form ozone when they are exposed to oxides of nitrogen. Here I have shown one reaction that nitrogen oxides, they react with volatile organic compounds in the presence of sunlight and they produce ozone, nitrogen oxides and some other products. Basically, volatile organic compounds are not a major concern from human health point of view, But these are a major concern because these are responsible for photochemical smoke formation in the lower atmosphere. That is very important for us. Some of the volatile organic compounds are known for their global warming potential. So here I would again repeat that volatile organic compounds are important for us because they participate in the smoke formation, particularly photochemical smoke formation, and some of the volatile organic compounds, they contribute to the global warming also. Here in this table you will find some of the common volatile organic compounds, and some examples of these volatile organic compounds are this trichloroethylene, naphthalene, 1,2-dichloroethylene, methyl tetrabutyl ether, benzene, acetone, tertiary butyl alcohol, and ethanol. Here in this table we have given their vapor density, vapor pressure and solubility, and from this table you will find that volatile organic compounds have significant solubility in the water. As far as these polyaromatic hydrocarbons are concerned, these are the commonly occurring pollutant, and these contaminate environment like other pollutant also. They are formed from incomplete combustion of organic compounds either naturally or due to human activities. Industrially obtained waste product act as the major source of PAH or polyaromatic hydrocarbon pollution. Increasing concerns due to their pollution in industrial gases and effluents, these are important for us. The release of chemicals in the environment has caused, it is established now that they are responsible for a number of diseases like cancer, allergy, asthma and other respiratory problems. Polyaromatic hydrocarbons contain carbon, hydrogen in the form of fused cyclic structures. The cyclic ring structures can be having several arrangements. The arrangements may be in the linear, clustered or angular. PAH are also characterized by Bay and K regions which form epoxides. When metabolized, epoxides entities are highly reactive species and can cause severe toxicity. These are low, the PAHs which are having low molecular weight, they are easy to degrade, but the PAHs which are having high molecular weight are difficult to degrade. These are hydrophobic in nature, and that's why they causes cell toxicity also. Crude oil contains complex mixture of different chemical compounds and possesses unique composition. Petroleum hydrocarbons can be divided into 4 comprehensive groups, and these groups are saturated oils, aromatic compounds, asphaltenes and resins. In this table you will find the names and their chemical structure and their solubility in water of some of the polyaromatic hydrocarbons. Here we have given the structure of naphthalene, phenylethrene, anthrene, pyrene, chrysene. So here you will find that the arrangement of the rings is angular as well as in the composite form. Now let me come to the bioremediation of polyaromatic hydrocarbons. Bioremediation of polyaromatic hydrocarbon pollution in marine sources is somewhat common, means is practiced, but the pollution in land and water, in land and soil is not addressed to that extent. Still the research work is going on the remediation of PAH in soil using this bioremediation in different laboratories. PAH being hydrophobic in nature bind with soil, which make them unavailable for degradation by microbe. This is the major drawback or major limitation or major barrier, that why it's difficult to apply bioremediation for the remediation of PAH present in the soil. The degradation mechanisms for PAH by microbes can be either aerobic or anaerobic in nature. Aerobic degradation, as the name is indicating, Basically, this is the primary mechanism of degradation of polyaromatic hydrocarbons by microbe, and as name indicating, this involves use of oxygen, and this process involves oxidation of cyclic rings by enzymes which are called as oxygenases, forming intermediates which can undergo ring breakage and further useful for metabolism. Whereas in case of anaerobic degradation, this is carried out under anaerobic condition as the name indicating, and this occurs slowly in comparison to the aerobic degradation. Some example of the microorganisms, Pseudomonas and Mycobacterium, these are known to degrade polyaromatic hydrocarbons. Microorganisms from Geobacter, Bacillus, Arthrobacter and Phanerochaete genus have also been reported for their capabilities, for their potential to degrade the petroleum products. Fungi from Penicillium, Aspergillus and Fusarium groups have also been described or known to degrade pH or having the pH degrading properties. It is believed that introduction of multiple species of bacteria with different degrading pathways for pollutant can serve in a better manner than introducing a single species. A lot of research work has been carried out that is available in literature that indicate that instead of using a single microbe, we should use a group of microorganisms, because different microorganisms will be degrading the pH by different mechanism, and then we can enhance the efficiency of the process in this manner. Several factors like microorganism strain to be used, chemical structure of the pH and concentration of the pH in question, and type of surface acting agent and its concentration, etc. Important for us to decide the efficiency of the process. In addition to this, some environmental factors also affect the biological degradation of polyaromatic hydrocarbon, and these environmental factors include pH, temperature, salinity, oxygen levels, sediment type, light intensity, season, etc. pH undergo metabolism using different mechanisms like bacterial degradation, lignolytic fungal degradation and non-lignolytic bacterial degradation. All these mechanisms involves oxidation of the ring structure of polyaromatic hydrocarbons. Now, let me discuss about bioremediation of volatile organic compounds. Bioremediation technique uses microbiological activity to metabolize and nullify the toxic effects of chemical substances. Biological treatment of volatile organic compounds is less, as we have discussed earlier, but it can offer a multitude of advantages. Biological method of removal of volatile organic compounds include use of biofilters, bioscrubbers, bioreactors of membrane and suspended type. Easily biodegradable VOCs include esters, phenols and benzene. Lower VOCs concentrations can be very effectively treated using biological method of bioremediation. Biofiltration is based on the principle that VOCs are transferred from air medium to a stationary medium where it is metabolized to form carbon dioxide, biomass and water. Now, let me come to the bioremediation of oils. Oils are organic compounds and these are metabolized by bacteria, fungi or any other species of microorganism. Oil polluted water can be addressed using oil degrading bacteria or fungi. Several methods like environmental control of nutrient and addition of other ingredient for promoting the growth of indigenous population of bacteria can be stimulated. Genetically modified bacteria tuned to degrade hydrocarbons can also be used for improving the scale and rate of biodegradation. Nutritional needs of the chosen bacteria must be carefully understood and met by providing correct mix of fertilizer, aeration, temperature, etc. Now, let me come to the strategies for improving bioremediation of organic contaminant. Seeding with cultures of microbe. An important approach considered during bioremediation of oil pollutant after an oil leakage is the seeding or inoculation of microbe that have the capability to degrade hydrocarbon present in the oils. The second inoculum, the seeded inoculum, can be a combination of non-indigenous microorganisms from contaminated environments, specially nominated and developed for their oil degrading properties. Hydrocarbon degrading bacteria, blend of oil degrading microorganisms selected from different sites which need remediation and then cultured in bioreactors in the labs. Necessities for seeding and challenging the nutrient supplementation. Inoculation of microbes should have the capability to destroy petroleum hydrocarbons in a manner which is superior to indigenous microbes and also counter the defense mechanism of indigenous microbes to compete for growth in a mixed population of organisms. Seed inoculums will be more suitable in conditions where native microbes are not able to metabolize the hydrocarbons or they are present in the latent forms. Then seeding with the genetically engineered microorganism. The preliminary results of genetically engineered microorganisms was first realized when it was designed by University of Tennessee in USA in collaboration with Oak Ridge National Laboratory. The Pseudomonas fluorescens strain HK44GEM was designed from an original Pseudomonas fluorescens strain. This genetically engineered strain was isolated from a gas plant, hugely polluted site with multiple aromatic rings containing compounds. Such genetically engineered microbes can be beneficial for faster degradation of petroleum products that are not degradable but other microbial population or are adaptable in the contaminated environment to survive better than the indigenous or seeded population of microbes. The development and use of genetically modified microbes for environmental cleanup is still limited owing to obstacles related to scientific, regulatory, economic and perception of utility regarding bioengineered microorganisms. Then environmental modifications. Degradation of oils in marine surrounding is inadequate due to nutritional requirements of bacterial populations like abiotic features like nitrogen, oxygen and phosphate concentration. Petroleum biodegradation kinetics are found to be negligible for cases of oxygenless sediments as oxygen requirement for initial step of oxygenation is critical in hydrocarbon metabolism. Aerated marine environments show a higher rate of degradation of petroleum products. Among the factors limiting the speed of petroleum degradation, lack of supply of nutrient is most critical. This parameter can be easily addressed by nutrient enrichment. The rationale in this method is that hydrocarbon metabolizing microbes are sufficiently large in concentration in ocean environments. Although nutrient enrichment and environmental modification is the commonest technique of bioremediation, it is very difficult to conclude that providing nutrients will be operative under all environment. More research is needed on this aspect. Now then, anaerobic degradation. Deep oceans having sediments and soil sites may be subject to anaerobic degradation of hydrocarbons. In some sites, oxygen levels are very low, where permeation of oxygen is not enough to replace the consumed oxygen by a microorganism. Land farming is one of the methods in which spoiled soil is distributed to form a bed along with fertilizer, which are mixed and redistributed again. Phytoremediation. Phytoremediation method uses plants and other microbes and their microbes for removing the pollutants present in the soil. Removal of high concentrations of pollutants is more challenging using phytoremediation, as the pollutant themselves inhibit the growth of plant itself. Slower growth of plants causes the rate of removal of organic pollutant to be very slow and is affected by weather and soil properties. Volatile organic compounds are also removed by plants through stomata and cuticles. Formaldehyde, methyl isobutyl ketone, benzene and toluene were found to be removed by stomata in light environment. Nerium indicum through stomata. Cuticle removal of VOCs like benzene, toluene, ethylene benzene and xylene is observed in plants cuticle by Vitis, Malus and other species of the plants. Apart from these, wax mediate uptake of VOCs has been found to occur in Dracæna sanderiana. Cleaning indoor air can be achieved using plants based uptake of VOCs by planting these species inside the buildings. In addition to this, different laboratories are working on the use of different plants, including this Brassica species and others, for the phytoremediation purposes. Then rhizoremediation. In rhizoremediation is another technique that can be used for the biodegradation of polyaromatic hydrocarbon, wherein rhizospheric and endophytic bacteria can be used as an inoculum system for soils. Rhizosphere technology is often combined with agronomic techniques so that both processes from plants and rhizobacteria can be synergistically utilized for the purpose of bioremediation. Rhizoremediation is also advantageous due to a high surface area obtained by attachment of roots, and the treatment occurs deep within the soil as deep as the roots penetrate. Combination of plant microbe pairs needs to be properly identified for the success of rhizoremediation. Bioaugmenting using microbes, although attractive but is limited, as high bacterial number needs to be maintained at the contaminated site, but the nutrient to support such a large number of microorganisms are small or lesser in quantity. The inoculated microorganisms also don't penetrate deeper into the soil, limiting the bioremediation potential of inoculated bacteria. Plasmid coating for polluted degradation can also get damaged. Now let me discuss different factors which are essential or which play an important role in the bioremediation process. Here in this figure we have shown that there are a number of factors which play an important role in the bioremediation or biodegradation using microorganism, plants, etc. And these factors include temperature, oxygen, nutrients, salinity, pH, moisture content, microbes and biomass, as well as other plants which can be used under phytoremediation or rhizoremediation, and biosurfactants. So these are the factors which play an important role in the bioremediation. So in this module we have learned about different type of contaminants like volatile organic carbons, polyaromatic hydrocarbons and oils, and we have learnt about the nature of volatile organic carbons, pH and oils. We have learnt about different strategies that can be used or adopted for the bioremediation of VOCs, pH and oils, and also we have learnt about different factors which are very essential for the success and effectiveness of the bioremediation process. Thank you.